And it's time for your legal questions. Jump on the blower, 133 882. Otherwise, you're stuck with me asking my legal questions. I'll be using my X amount of dollars and cents very, very wisely. When Nick and Nick, how do I say your last name again?
It's Marouchak.
Marouchak. Where is it from?
It's Ukrainian.
Oh, Ukrainian. I like I should have told by your eyes. Why did I not tell? We're White Russians.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were Ukraine. My dad's side was.
Oh, really?
Dad's side, no, mother's side. Marcinkovits.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like a strong European name.
We originally thought that we were Italians, but then we found out we were White Russians. There we go. Which is what they used to call them way back then. My apologies to anyone whom I have unintentionally offended. I have a legal expert here who can represent me if need be. All right, should we start with Christmas parties, or have you got a topic that's close to your heart that you're thinking, I want to do this one?
Oh, no, whatever you feel like.
All right, 133 882 team. So if we get a gift and it's faulty, what's our legal right sending it back?
So when it comes, if it's faulty, basically if it's got a major problem with it, you can just return it and you can have it back. If it's got a minor problem in it, they have the right to repair it, right? So the business has a right to either repair it or replace it. So that's kind of generally how it works. And if you simply just don't like the gift, it really comes down to the store policy, right? So you don't have a right to return anything unless the business has a returns policy. So yeah, that's kind of how it works in short. And I was doing some Christmas shopping today for my wife a few days ago, and I definitely got a gift receipt.
I was going to say today you need legal help yourself.
Not today. So I got the gift receipt. Turns out didn't quite get the right dress size, and the gift receipt came in really handy. So that one, it was a good one.
Oh my goodness me. Okay, 133 882 Tim, if you'd like to join us. It's talking about families and Christmas time. Are there any common legal disputes that you see around Christmas, especially, I don't know, involving maybe shared property or custody agreements?
Well, one thing, a lot of family lawyers are busy in January, and they're the most busiest in January because I think traditionally a lot of people kind of decide to separate during Christmas because it's a holiday period, they're spending time with their person, and they just come to some realization, or it fast forwards things. They might have been thinking about it during the year, and it kind of brings everything to a head. So a lot of family lawyers right after Christmas are really busy, and also before Christmas, there's a lot of custody disputes leading up to Christmas about where your child is going to spend time that parents can't agree. So the family court does have a process to give you a tight deadline right before Christmas to hear any emergency custody disputes as well. So they're the kind of things we see in the family law that we see often around this Christmas time. The other thing is a lot of businesses potentially leaning up towards the end of the year. When it comes to staff, they might want to do the redundancies and have a new start at the end of the year. So before Christmas, some workplace disputes do definitely escalate, and then it's generally quieter during January period.
Yeah. With those disputes in the family law courts, and I've got a friend who recently received a letter from a lawyer, and she was given, I think it was 14 days to respond, and that was about the 10th or 11th of 10th or 11th of December. So she responded on the Monday of this week, the 20th, but the other law firm had already gone on holidays. Yeah. What happens then for her?
Yeah, so a lot of the time, sometimes it's just standard response times to 14 days. They didn't really think of it, but a lot of law firms are closed during the period. So just wait until the law firm reopens because you really want to try and resolve disputes if you can. Okay,
133 882. Jump on the blower team. Nick has done that. Nick, hello. How are you today? How was your Christmas?
Oh, good. Thanks. Happy Christmas to everyone. Yeah, mine was good.
Excellent.
My question is, just before school holidays, I got caught speeding in a school zone, but it was, I thought it was 4 o'clock, so I was entitled to do 60, and the official speeding fine says they clocked me at 3:58.
Oh.
Do I have any case for appealing on that? Because the clock in my car said 4 o'clock, and I was fully aware that 4 o'clock it was a 60, and I was caught doing 60.
So it comes down to proving time, and my guess is that the police system is probably very well calibrated. So whatever time they have on their system is probably the right time. There is only one defense I can think of, and it's something called mistake of fact. So if you're mistaken as to a certain fact and you have this genuinely held belief that it's true, that is a defense in criminal law. And an example is, I just can't think of an example off the top of my head right now, but so here you were mistaken as to the time. So it's a defense you can try and run. So if you can write to the Department of Transport, whoever issued the ticket, explain to them you had this genuinely held belief. See if they would review the ticket on those grounds. If they don't, then on the back of the ticket it will tell you what your rights are. You can challenge it and go to court. If you have the time to run this and the energy to run it, you can probably run that argument, and it's whether a judge believes you and whether it was reasonable to have that mistaken time. So I think you probably might not be successful, but it's something you can try and run, and if it's worth it, and the prosecutor might negotiate something with you.
What do you think, Nick? Have you got the internal fortitude to follow it through yourself?
Well, if it sounds like I haven't got much of a case, then I might just cop it on the chin.
I don't know, Nick. I reckon I'd be done like you, because my clock in my car is always running 5 minutes fast to try and get me places on time.
Yeah. Yep. So it's if you want to just go through experience to see what it's like in the courtroom and to see that side, that might be fun. But yeah, I think you can. It's an argument it's not a frivolous argument to run that, and you might scrape through. I would say 30% chance if I have to guess.
Good luck, Nick.
And I lose. Am I up for any additional costs?
Generally, no, not in criminal law. So in the criminal, when it comes to criminal law, the defendant doesn't pay costs if they win or lose. In most cases, right? So in this traffic case, it won't. Some criminal prosecutions, like very specific ones, you do pay costs. Say, in some jurisdictions there are, but most criminal ones no, and in this one no as well. The only thing is, if you do, a lot of the time, if you do take things to trial, the risk is a higher penalty. But in your case, these penalties are all they're all very clearly defined. But in some cases where judges have discretion, say for an assault charge, to award higher penalties, then that's the risk that you take if you take things to trial.
Nick, we're going to go to a quick break. It's 11 minutes to 12 on 882 6PR. Get those calls coming in through now. We've got 10 minutes after this break. 133 882. All right, we've got a text that's come in from Meg, who would like to know what happens, please, Nick, if your ex de facto won't sell the house.
So I'd imagine, my guess is with Meg, both of your names are on the title. So if both the names are on the title and you're in a family law and the relationship breaks down, so what you want to do first is try and negotiate with them and try and get an agreement, and you can record that agreement with a consent orders of binding financial agreement. That's the first step. Try and avoid court. If that fails and you're not getting anywhere, then you have to go to the family court. So you have to go to the family court, and then the court will make a decision on how the house is sold, how much profit, how much share each person gets. And if after those court orders are made, the person still won't sell the house, the family court has the ability to sign on that person's name, sign in on their behalf, and then the house can get sold that way. So there is a whole mechanism for that.
How long could that take foreseeably? So if someone's saying to you, we want the house sold, and you're saying no?
Okay, going to court, if your assets are under $500,000, there's a special fast track provision for you. If the combined assets under that amount, you can go to court and get a conciliation, which is a mediation within 2-3 months, and then you can get a trial date within 6 months after that. Well,
given the average house price at the moment is above that, pretty much, no.
Then 2 years, right?
2 years.
You could be waiting in court for 2 years, 3 years. It's quite a lengthy wait, and then the house is going to go up in value.
That's right.
And so that's why.
So if both your names are on that title, it could be up to 2 years before you're forced to sell it. But one of you, I would suggest the person who's stuck in the house will be paying the mortgage.
Well, look, and that's right. But you could make an application to the court to get some sort of temporary orders about how the mortgage is paid, who lives in the house until the final trial date. But most cases don't go to trial. A lot of them, the court forces the parties to reach a mediation, and that's when most settlements occur, and that could happen in 6 months if your assets are above the 500,000 mark. So it's better just to settle and to not pay lawyers any money on this and try and resolve it amicably.
I agree. We're looking at that for a maid. It's $160 for that. $160. I think if you download and submit that property,
the consent orders.
Yeah, yourself. $160.
Do that, because that gives you that those consent orders are basically as you reach an agreement and the court will make the orders that you agree, and they're binding, and they have the same effect as if you went to trial and the court made those orders.
And paid $180,000 over 3 years. I could not believe those costs for her.
Yeah. Oh, is that how much she paid?
Then you wouldn't have a holiday. That's what she's going to be paying if she goes to court. Anyway.
Avoid it. I wouldn't want to go through that.
Thank you so much for coming in this week
My
and
pleasure.
giving up your Boxing Day. What was your day like yesterday?
It was great. I went to family and I smoked a turkey, and the turkey wasn't dry, so that was really great.
You're on fire. Okay, and you coming back next week?
Yep.
All right. And what are your topics for next week, just so people can get ducks lined up?
Well, one topic is what happens if who makes medical decisions for you if you can't decide for yourself, right? So that there's a whole area hierarchy about that. So we can talk about those kind of things and how you can put things in place to make sure that medical treatment is made in your favor and how you want it.
Sounds good, Nick.